Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Crimson Dawn Lore, where I, the author, teach you, the viewer, about the world of Crimson Dawn. Today's episode is on two integrally suppressed rifles, the AS-24 and VSS-24. This was suggested to me by a few of my subscribers who wanted to know if the new Soviet Union used these rifles, and yes, they do. That being said, let's get into the lore for these stealthy rifles. Developed by Kalashnikov Concern in the year 2024, the AS-24 and VSS-24 were integrally suppressed rifles that were mainly used by Spetsnaz operatives and paratroopers of the new Soviet Union. Essentially, they were more modernized versions of the AS-Val and VSS Vintorez rifles that came standard with added Picatinny rails and a rear sight that was moved backward like on the AK-24 rifle family. Both of these rifles are chambered in the 9x39mm round like their predecessors, and the AS-24 comes standard with 20-round box magazines, while the VSS-24 comes standard with 10-round box magazines and a PSO-1 scope, and both can be fired in full auto and semi-auto. However, there are other magazines that these weapons can use, like 30-round box magazines and either 40 or 50-round drum magazines. With the addition of Picatinny rails on both the top of the receiver and around the barrel, the AS-24 and VSS-24 are versatile weapons that can be utilized for any stealth mission, by adding different attachments from reflex sights to scopes to foregrips, laser pointers, and flashlights. Finally, their stocks were made to reflect the standard stocks of the AK-24 and SVD-24. These rifles have first proved themselves in a recently declassified mission by Spetsnaz operatives during the year 2025, when a small but alarming group of ex-Kharkivists sought to commit a terrorist attack against the new Soviet Union's now undisputed rule. These ex-Kharkivists fled the Battle of Magadan in 2023 and weren't accounted for when the Second Russian Civil War ended, only to re-emerge from the shadows 2 years later when they planned to take hostages in the city of Irkutsk. When the Ministry of State Security learned of this threat and the location of their hideout before the terrorists could take hostages, Premier Letyeskov greenlit Operation Shadowblade. This operation was conducted by the 12th Spetsnaz Detachment and led by the newly promoted Major General Vladimir Ovchinnikov. Using AS-24 and VSS-24 rifles, the 12th Spetsnaz operatives silently entered the terrorist hideout in the outskirts of the city and killed or incapacitated every one of the ex-Kharkivists before they even knew what hit them. Despite only one Spetsnaz operative suffering a knife wound to the arm, it was thanks to their AS-24 and VSS-24 rifles that their mission was a complete success. With the capturing of those ex-Kharkivists who weren't killed during Operation Shadowblade, the Ministry of State Security was able to root out more ex-Kharkivists that were hiding throughout Siberia, and by 2026, all of the terrorists were either killed or arrested. The AS-24 and VSS-24 rifles would go on to serve the new Soviet Union's most covert soldiers for many more decades to come. It would be regarded as an invaluable tool used to surgically remove threats both foreign and domestic that stood against the new Soviet Union and its allies. And that concludes today's episode of Crimson Dawn Lore. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week.